the best Christmas markets in the world, the hardest decision for our mayor, and the cheapest beer in the world. These are the dishonest articles about our city. One of the reasons we started this show, called The Honest Guide, was to be honest about things we say about our city. Mainly because most of the stuff we find online and what some guides and some travel bloggers say is simply dishonest. And that's what today's episode is all about. So I'm sitting here on the Old Town Square, one of the main tourist attractions and main squares in the city of Prague, that happens to host Christmas markets every year. There's different markets, different vendors, there's a Christmas tree, and journalists love to write about it. And just recently, we popped up on USA Today as one of the best Christmas destinations for your visit. So I was super excited. I mean, USA Today is writing about our city. That's awesome. Let me grab the article so I will quote it perfectly. Here, my folder, fake news. Don't you dare put that in the video. Okay, no internet connection. How is there no Wi-Fi? How can this be rated a good square when there's no Wi-Fi? So the article is the 10 best Christmas markets in Europe to visit this year. The first thing that should catch your eye is from Austria to Slovakia. There's a holiday market waiting for you. So here's Austria, here's Slovakia. There's not too many markets along the way. There's literally 2. All the markets mentioned in this article are all around, out of the way from Austria to Slovakia. We did the ultimate USA road trip from Florida all the way to Alabama. They're right next to each other. But that's not the best part. Seriously, man, she mentions Hungary, Denmark, Romania, Germany. All of these are not along the way from Austria to Slovakia, like nowhere near. Now, we're more than happy that this article about best Christmas markets also features Prague, and it says, this city hosts several Christmas markets, but the 2 we recommend take place in the Old Town Square and Wenceslas Square. By the way, the 2 worst markets we have in the city. But let me continue. The aromas of roasted ham, sausages, and smoked meat dumplings permeate the air. Highlight: the 82-foot-high Christmas tree is the star attraction in the Old Town Square. So I read this, and I was like, I wonder if this person who wrote it was actually here to the market. Now, how do I find out? Oh, well, she mentions the 82-foot Christmas tree, but the Christmas tree that year happened to have 88 feet. But I mean, foot here, foot there, who knows, maybe she was actually here and she just didn't have the right measure tape. So I actually got in touch with this journalist on Twitter and I asked her, have you actually been to the Christmas market that you're writing about? Well, you obviously know the answer is no, but let me just find the specifics since we're being functional here. Here, not that one. And she linked to an article with different Christmas markets where she apparently has been to. Now, she's not been to the market, yet in the article for USA Today, she describes what's it like here, how it's filled with locals. There's not a single local on the square. I can guarantee that. She describes the smell of the food from the stand here. She couldn't smell it, she wasn't here. Maybe she read the fake reviews that the stand bought somewhere online where they describe the smell. I do not want to trash talk this specific journalist. This is sort of an example of what travel journalism is nowadays about. I went through her entire Instagram. It looks like she's never been to Czech Republic nor Prague. She's been to Sherry Republic, but that's not Prague. Now, the internet is full of these kind of articles, top 10, the best to visit, and so on. One would hope that the people writing these or making video like these, we do them, actually been to the destinations. I don't know how this turned out. Like, did the city pay to be featured here? Maybe. That brings us to the next topic. Now, if we were not sure about the previous article, if it was paid, I am certain this one was. It was paid by the city of Prague to appear in USA Today to promote the city of Prague. And this is what the article looked like. There's a picture of Old Town Square and there's a picture of our mayor, and it is sort of an interview with him where he mentions few interesting things about the city. For example, that we're building a ring road. Yep, we're building a ring road. Woohoo! It's awesome, right? You care about that a lot, I'm sure. I mean, whenever I pick a city to travel to or to start my investment in business, I'm like, do they have a ring road? Because if they don't have a ring road, I'm just gonna skip. If this is the ring road that the mayor talked about in the article, congratulations, masterpiece. Not bad. Now, jokes aside, there is one important building that's about to be built in Prague, a new concert hall that the mayor mentions. But he talks about it in a very bizarre way. I'd rather quote this. Now, there is a project underway to create a new concert hall, and we had an international architectural competition in which some 18 studios took part. The biggest problem I have as a mayor now is that the 3 leading projects are all so beautiful that it is truly difficult to select a winner. Mr. Mayor, they've already announced the winner. They're going to build it. It was a big event. You were present there. Here's a picture of you. And when I say big event, that's the architectural office that won Bjarke Ingels. Remember? This is what it's going to look like. You were in the jury. You selected it. Remember? Now, the article is called A Modern Metropolis with Medieval... Wait, I've heard that before. A modern metropolis with medieval... That's Brussels. I read it in this article. No, it wasn't Brussels. A modern metropolis with medieval... Barcelona. I read that about Barcelona. No, it was Cardiff. A modern metropolis with medieval... Genius. And to finish this beautiful article off, the mayor also mentions that we have fantastic food, great beer, and delicious wines. As they would say in the promotional video for Amsterdam,
yes, we have it all.
By far our favorite video to promote a destination, by the way. Partially today we're talking about advertorials, which are advertisements pretending to be articles and you can tell them apart. In our videos, you can tell it apart. This is the sponsored message by SurfsharkVPN. If you happen to be a frequent viewer, you already know what SurfsharkVPN is good for. You can access content that may be restricted in your country, and many countries restrict a lot of content, and many websites restrict their content to certain countries, which can drive you crazy, and you can easily bypass that with this extension. And now you're saying, well, I'm a frequent viewer, I already noticed, you just said that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but did you know you can use that on unlimited devices? And you may be like, well, I only have 2 devices. I got my phone and my computer. What is more where I can use it? Well, for example, I have a friend and he had friends and they were in South Korea at the Olympics and they were like, hey, dude, we cannot watch our favorite shows from our home country. And he was like, well, guess what? I can give you my code for unlimited devices. This friend of mine that I will not mention, Honza, is happy to share his code with you, the honest guide. It will give you 3 months for free of the service SurfsharkVPN, and as I said, unlimited devices. The link is below the video, or you can use this lovely QR code. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring us. This is the end of the paid message. Let's move on with the video. The next article I want to talk about is titled, Europe's Booziest City has pines for under £2 and is just a 20-pound flight away. And I immediately knew they're talking about Prague. Now, the article starts with a quote saying, a pint of local ale can be picked up for anywhere between 60p and 2.80 pounds. Now, let's clarify that ale would not be local for Prague nor Czech Republic. We drink beer that is the type of Pilsner, because there's a town called Pilsen, therefore we gave the name to the Pilsner beer, making it the local beer. But I don't think a bloke will be reading this article deciding whether to go for ale or Pilsner. All that caught his attention is a 60p for a pint? That's amazing. That's almost unbelievable or impossible. And that's exactly what it is. Impossible. You cannot buy a pint of beer in this city for 60p. It's actually almost impossible to buy beer for £2, as the article states. Now, according to the recent article from Czech media that is trustworthy, a local pint of Pilsner, the average price is more than 2.3 pounds. And if you as a tourist come here to Prague with a stag party, I can guarantee you that's the price you will never get. Most likely you will end up in one of these tourist restaurants. And guess how much you pay here for a beer? More than 11 pounds. And 11 is more than 2. See the difference? I did get in touch with the person who wrote the article to clarify if he even was in Prague. He never got back to me, but considering the fact that he used a stock image for the article, I don't think he's been to Prague. Now, don't get me wrong, there are places where beer is really cheap. The cheapest I could find is 1.2 pounds. But the article does not mention any place at all. It just says, Prague cheap beer. Nope. Now there's also an article on Mirror, which is somehow similar. I don't know which one was first. And the article on Mirror also mentions that as many as 18.8% of all TripAdvisor things to do in the city are typically boozy late night activities. Well, I checked all the what to do in Prague activities, and out of the first 20, none of them is related to booze. Now, don't get me wrong again, we love to get a good pint of local Pilsner. Also, we don't go by pints, but half liters. But just creating an article that says, boozy city in Europe, Prague, come get wasted, the flights are cheap, I'm not even gonna tell you where to go, just go anywhere. That's not how you write articles. By the way, I really don't know who these articles are intended for. Like, there's a person sitting in front of their computer, and after reading this, they're like, I'm going. Maybe the person who wrote it should give at least some tips. Visit the place before writing about it online. That being said, many of the people sitting behind me are paying 11 quid for a beer. Cheers. If you're looking for relevant information from locals about Prague, you're on the right channel, you're in the right place. We've got plenty of videos so you can check them out. And if you came here because you're researching your vacation in Prague, let us know what else you found along the way. If there's any weird articles you read, or if there's something good you came across, let us know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. In the end, I'll teach you how to say article in Czech, and that is článek. Článek is an article. Článek. The following is not an article about Prague, rather it's a Facebook Twitter post that we found out after editing this video. And it actually comes from the City Hall, from one of the officials, where he posted this picture before and after. It's about the fact that they're putting traffic signs on already existing poles, getting rid of some other poles. We made a video about this, criticizing the city, saying there's so many poles everywhere, why don't you just put them all into one? And this guy said, we did just that. And people were like, you're awesome, man, you did it. Accidentally, we walked around this location that is featured in that post the same day, and we noticed that he lied. He said that they moved a sign to this pole and they got rid of a stick. They didn't. They just moved it. They moved it here. So it's a lie. It's a misinformation coming from a politician official from the City Hall. They only put up an extra parking spot. That's why they moved the sign. I don't think you should lie this openly. There's people in the comment section, they're saying like, that's so great that you did a positive change. You didn't, man.